All right, news. So, do you have anything that caught your eye? Also, we've been gone kind of ish for like, was it like 2 weeks for as far as news? So the news kind of piled up a little bit.
It did indeed. I think on both of our plates was the uh, report through an interview with Saint Seiya character designer Terumi Nishii about
Mm-hmm.
Netflix budgeting in the sense that they are paying sometimes twice or three times the usual amount for series, but the wages, at least as far as the animators and some of the production staff, have not risen to meet those sort of new contracts. I think that it's interesting to me on a couple of fronts because within other industries, and especially in the United States, but in Europe as well, you see that this is a continuing issue. First, that Netflix is definitely shelling out the big bucks for original or at least first run content,
Mm-hmm.
which is great. I think that's something that everyone can get behind. We've
Yeah.
seen not just Netflix, but Crunchyroll and other streaming services heavily invest in anime. And I think we have a news item about HBO sort of hopping into this mix as well. So that's all great. And I
Yes.
think it's been wonderful for the industry that more Western players are willing to spend more on anime because it means we get more anime. On the other hand, there still is this recurring problem of studios not necessarily being able to um, reap some of the financial benefits of success. In Japan, the system for producing new anime for TV usually involves a production committee, which rarely actually includes the animation studios themselves. Usually it's the network that the show is running on, various advertisers or sponsors, and so they are the ones who tend to make all the money if the show is a success, and the production companies are often left holding a lot of the cost. So in this case, this particular article, Netflix is taking a big role. They're essentially replacing the production committee, and they're paying a lot of money, but it's just not trickling back down to the labor. So I think that this is yet another reason why anime fans can clap and say it's wonderful that we're getting more, but at the same time need to hold Netflix especially accountable and say pay these people because we want the industry to grow. We don't want it to atrophy at the expense of the worker
The
just
people
because we
doing the
get good
work.
stuff.
Yeah. I mean, I definitely noticed that, like, at the end of that article, that they said that they don't really recommend people, like, come to Japan to work in the anime industry because it literally wrings people's dry. So I'm kind of just like, I don't know if this is really going to encourage the work environment over there. And also, it kind of sucks because, like, these are the people who are, like, on the ground making the shit that we love. Like, of course, like, the directors and the producers have a huge say in what's going on. But if the people who are actually doing the work, like the nonstop hard fucking work, aren't getting paid, then that puts a really, like, sour taste in my mouth. And then that also influences my money because I'm just like, well, I don't know if I really want to support you guys if you're going to be fucking over the people who deserve the money the most. So
Yeah, and you see shades of this in coming out of Hollywood. The special effects industry is notorious for these sort of horrible contracts where effectively because they have to low bid on movie productions, they often are in cases where you have these like very high quality, world class studios that can only really survive doing two or three movies before they literally run out of money. I'm reminded actually not too long ago with of all things, the Sonic the Hedgehog movie, the company that was called in to do a lot of the
doesn't exist
reanimation,
anymore.
re-rigging, and re-rendering after all the fan backlash. And by all accounts, did a fantastic job. Folks were very, very
I
pleased.
actually didn't see that.
Yeah, folks were really pleased. They essentially had to lay off about 75% of their staff right after completing that work. And
Jesus.
you see this in the game industry as well, and middleware folks. It's just a common problem. So I would say for anyone who's interested, still voice your opinion with Netflix for in a positive way for producing more original stuff. Watch it if it's good, but just be aware that the quality of life for a lot of the folks who are behind our favorite content often doesn't match either the earnings that the big companies get or even the cushy contracts that come through to the production studios.
So segueing into that, HBO Max is really expanding their anime offerings aggressively. So Promise Neverland is going there. They're getting Aldnoah Zero, which a lot of motherfuckers don't know about.
Love it.
Mob Psycho, and they're getting Madoka Magica. So they're really like stacking their anime library heavily, and I'm glad to see it. To be honest, it makes me more willing to keep the subscription.
Did you actually pick up HBO Max?
Yeah, I picked it. Wait, what did I think I got it free from somewhere. Did I get it free from somewhere? I think I got it free for a year. Or was that Disney Plus? That was Disney Plus. I paid for HBO Max because I was watching Insecure, and I was like, I don't want to cheat Issa Rae out of her coins. Let me support. And so I subscribed.
We have Go, and I'm contemplating sort of plussing up to Max just for the rest of the library. So this may be what pushes it over the edge. I know that they're bringing some original content as well, but I'm not as familiar with what's on deck, at least for the next 6 months.
Yeah, I have no idea what original content is coming to it. I honestly barely even use that app, but from what I've perused as far as like the anime, I'm just like, oh, if they keep going at this rate, they're going to have a lot of good shit. And the fact that they're getting some of the Crunchyroll stuff too. Right. Because Tower of God is going over there. Like it's pretty good. It's pretty good.
I did note that in the presser for that, they mentioned that there would be some old and original content from Rooster Teeth going through. So does that mean Ruby is likely to make it over?
Oh, wow. You know what? That would be amazing because I've never watched that.
It's worth a shot. I think, for the internet OGs who go back to the origins, the animations on game trailers and other things that sort of inspired that, you can tell the influence of the original creator who has, I think, since tragically passed away.
Yeah, he passed away, didn't he?
Yeah. The original animator. It's good. Is it the greatest thing ever? Not necessarily, but it's entertaining. It moves pretty fast. The characters are interesting. I generally would recommend it. It has a very, very, very dedicated fan base online, and some of the characters have even made it into Arc System fighting games.
Yeah, the cross tag battle.
Yeah, so that by itself should let you know that it at least has a cult following. And I think it's pretty cool. So yeah, definitely. If it makes it over to HBO, that's a good place to pick it up.
So another life-size Gundam is coming into the world in Shanghai, China. And I'm just gonna say, y'all, we might be getting real life Gundams in our lifetime moving. That's just what I'm gonna say. I think it's coming.
Yeah, if anyone hasn't checked out that video,
can't it?
That's worth seeing.
It can move, can't it?
Yeah, I think they posted a video with the first steps. It's on a track, but it's really cool. And I don't know. This is the second or the third one. I don't know if the first one that was made was as big as this one because this is 60 foot tall. And of course it's not. It can't walk unassisted. That would be ridiculous. But if anyone has the opportunity, the video is out online, and I think a Chinese company is behind it, but it's being built currently in Japan, in Yokohama.
Oh, yeah. Okay. What else is? Oh, well, I'm super excited about this news. The Given film has a fucking date. It's August 22nd, and yeah, I know there's one person in particular who's listening who's also going to be super excited about that. But if you guys have not watched Given, yes, it is boys' love, but also it's not your regular boys' love where, aggressive sexual shit happens. It's actually extremely music focused and trauma focused. So I would say think of it more as like a slice of life drama with a dash of boys' love. but it's really fucking good. So if you haven't watched that series, go watch the series before August 22nd. I don't think it's going to be online anytime soon. I just know that that's supposed to be like the theatrical release in Japan, which God knows how that's going to go right now. But yes, it's the exact same team. I already heard the fucking songs from it. They're fucking phenomenal. Go watch the show.
Yeah, at some point we should do a run through of like movies, because I realize that I miss a lot of the higher profile animated films that release in Japan, just because the news doesn't penetrate, and then like how one can legally acquire a good copy is always kind of iffy. And not that I'm shaming anyone who runs to the darker side of the internet, but I do like to see like whatever the official releases are, because they typically will come in like Blu-ray quality, etc. So I tend to miss a lot of that stuff. So we should have like a recap.
Yes, I'm down for that. Also, the Seven Deadly Sins, the third season is finally coming to Netflix, even though it's been out in Japan for damn near a year already. I'm gonna go ahead and just recommend everyone just read the manga. The first season of Seven Deadly Sins was really fucking good. Like, I really enjoyed it for what it was. It was some good fucking shonen shit. But the second season, it was okay. And apparently, like, a really huge fight that's super duper important happens in the third season. And it kind of, like, the new studio just completely drops the ball completely. So I myself have only read the manga up to where the end of, like, the second season is at. And then it's already done. They've finished serializing it, I think, this year. But I think that's one everyone should just stick to the manga. And the fourth season is supposed to come out this year sometime. So hopefully that makes a turnaround, and then I can maybe recommend, maybe suffer through this or just read the manga up until the point where the fourth season starts and then start watching it again. But this really isn't something I'm just I would say to be excited about. If you have the free time and you're still stuck at home because of the Rona, yeah, go ahead and watch it. But it's meh.
Yeah, I would also...
the opening song is really good, though.
I would also wonder if the version that's going to make it to streaming will be one where they've done some correction on everything. The bit that I've seen, at least from when it was airing, there's some really, 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 really glaring in-between frame issues, let alone like just general animation problems. So normally when they have Blu-ray releases, those will get cleaned up, or at least they may go back and literally reanimate some scenes. But I'm curious what version will ultimately wind up on streaming platform. So maybe it'll be a little bit better. I mean, I don't know how much you can expect, how much improvement you can expect out of it. But yeah, the manga's great. Read the manga. The music is still really good for the second season, so that's something. But man, it's a real disappointment, because that was and still is one of my favorite shonen series, at least from the last 5 years or so.
Oh yeah, no, I definitely enjoyed the Shadow. The first season was so enjoyable for me that I actually went and started reading the manga weekly. Like, that's how much I enjoyed that shit. So I don't know what happened, but yeah, it just wasn't the same. I think, is that all? Oh, the Goblin Slayer movie is coming out, which I'm kind of worried about, because apparently it's only an hour long.
Ooh.
And it's supposed to cover an entire storyline. I'm kind of nervous about that.
Okay.
Very nervous. Very nervous. I hope it does what it needs to do and gets the point across, and we get everything that we need from it. But an anime movie only being an hour, and it's supposed to cover like an entire thing. I don't know. I don't think I've seen it done.
Yeah, I've always had sort of mixed feelings about Goblin Slayer as a series. Not necessarily from like, it's got edgy content or anything like that. Mostly because it didn't seem to me that there was a lot of source material to adapt. And so for something that got the buzz that it got, and definitely helped build a fan base just for pushing boundaries and generally being interesting, it just felt like they were going to run out of adaptable material. So I'm somehow not shocked that the movie's short, and we'll see how it turns out. But it's another one of those cases where also maybe waiting a little bit of time took some of the bloom off the rose. So I remain just waiting to see what's gonna come out of that.
That's all the news that I have. Oh wait, what is this? Oh, Shaman King is finally getting. So were the Shaman King manga never fully translated in English?
I don't know. I
Officially?
mean, by the time I was reading it, maybe I was reading like some fan translation, so I don't recall the end state. I mean, I have memories of going into like bookstores and seeing plenty of Shaman King. I just maybe never investigated if it
It was
was
completed.
ever finished. Like, did Tokyo Pop handle that or not?
I don't think they finished handling it because from what I'm seeing, they're translating the spin-offs. I see that, but then also I saw something else earlier this week where they were like they're gonna complete the translation of the original Shaman King, and I was like, that didn't get finished.
Yeah, Shaman
Like
King
after
has
all
had such
these
a
years.
strange history, at least in the West, for something that was so popular and
Yeah,
has remained so popular. It's such an interesting and strange history.
that's all I have for news.